of that particular competition. They came back to play that competition again in 1974-1975. In the 1974-1975 season, they did very well by qualifying themselves into the 1/60 stands, into the quarter-final stage of that particular competition. But then they weren't able to progress after team lost in the quarter-final stage of that particular competition. But then in the 75-76 season, it was Valencia or Manchester United in that said competition. They tried very well to come back hard again to make sure somebody may win that particular spell, and I said that particular European Cup with Manchester United. When they came back in the 1983-1984 season, but then within that particular moment in time, Gardens in the team in that particular era, almost to semi-finals, but the Gardens were able to eliminate Manchester United in the European Cup. Then they came back in the 1992 season. But in the 92 season, when they came, they were having a lot of people and I'm committing my boom. But then, I mean, the side of the robbers, it means you move in the semi-final stage of that same competition. And they came back in 1999. At that time, it was a proper, Europa Cup, and on the side of Manchester United. But or meant to me anchor into the finals of that particular stage. Now, a talk also until 2011, when they were playing in the UEFA Champions League, after sending more into the same group with most of these football clubs, like the likes of Valencia, Besiktas, and other clubs on the same group stage with Manchester United, they were not able to qualify into the 1/60 stage of the competition, and they drop ball into, the Europa League. When they came to the Europa League, they played into the quarterfinals, but then they were evicted from that particular Europa quarterfinals within that particular stage. Manchester Fakye. It came back in 2015-2016 season when the side of Jose Mourinho made sure to obey Manchester United into the final stage of the Europa League final against Ajax, and then he will be able to score Ajax by 2-0. It was a proper record, and Jose Mourinho laid down the other side of Manchester United will free her. It didn't other football club it's eco coach here. After that, now we've seen Manchester United not participating, as not doing very well in the Europa League and even with the Champions League. But when you are talking about most of these English clubs, or meeting 14 of the league block, or into the Europa League finals, Manchester United has not been the only football club or that particular record now. As far back in 2003 season, when we had Sevilla, also performing very well. A league log now. We saw a certain Sevilla in 2023 or no making sure so obeying the Europa League in 2023. At that time, no more performing very poor. It was Spanish Liga number 14th on that particular table. And we saw another West Ham and say English side that time are no more competing very well. The Europa Conference League, they were not also doing very well for themselves. Almost that 14th of the league log or the English Premiership table. But the Moyes did very well, took West Ham into the finals, and they were able to win that particular European Conference League using West Ham. So if say Manchester United into the finals and making sure that they will do that particular thing for themselves, and you're the first time that particular history, Sevilla be in 2023, and then West Ham also be at the time almost winning the Europa Conference League for themselves. But then we're going to have an all-English final because Tottenham Hotspur were able to beat Bodo by 3-1. Although Munyanko away and board that particular football game. But I'm taping that Tottenham Hotspur will make that particular encounter to make sure we go into that particular final and also make qualify their call into the Europa League final. But when it comes to this particular moment in stage, and so when it comes to this particular stage of that particular moment, in English clubs go into the finals. Say a talk also this particular season, season when English clubs or go into the finals. As far back in 1971-1972, Tottenham Hotspur played against Wolverhampton Wanderers in that same Super Cup, and that's a European Super Cup. At that moment in time, Tottenham Hotspur to me winning against Wolverhampton Wanderers, and then they were able to adjust as the winners of the European Super Cup. As far back, I said, Omutimi a year side, English finals. After some boy in 1971, they waited until another 36 years for them to have another all-English finals happening in Moscow. At that time, it was Chelsea Football Club and then Manchester United in the Champions League final. And we also that goal from Cristiano Ronaldo and that goal also from the side of Frank Lampard. I'm going to the penalty shootout. John Terry made the penalty shootout, and then Manchester United made the UEFA Champions League. It's also called at that particular moment in time, not Tottenham Hotspur, any Liverpool Football Club, in that particular UEFA Champions League final in 2021. And that's the 2019-2021. We saw a certain Liverpool making sure Tottenham Hotspur by 2-0. Mohamed Salah and Divock Origi, it's me share that particular moment of goal at the side of Liverpool, all English finals. And then another final also come in 2021-2022 season when we saw Chelsea and then Manchester City going into the UEFA Champions League final because of Thomas Tuchel and then Pep Guardiola into that particular final. Thomas Tuchel was able to beat Pep Guardiola with that particular moment in time. But as now, NHL is also called the Europa League final game in that same season. And we saw the side of Chelsea Football Club, or more the side of Arsenal by 2-0. We've seen so many English finals in the history of football. So waiting repeating, that's a Manchester United, or mobile Old Trafford. That's what meeting Atletico Bilbao. And I say Tottenham Hotspur away, Kobo Bodo, etimi qualifier. We will have an all-English final. By the all-English final, we will have English clubs in their league log. Manchester were 14th, no. We are having Tottenham Hotspur who 16th on the league log currently as we speak. So to go into the final, and no bit may enable Manchester, and as no bit may enable English clubs for them to have 5 football clubs in Europe to contest next season. So Manchester automatically they will have to compete in the Champions League. So Tottenham Hotspur automatically they will have to compete in the next Champions League. But in common says Manchester United made the Europa League now. Or more claims of victory over the superior of Arne Slot now. That will be a question that will be able to say because we are having 20th title for Manchester United and Liverpool Football Club. And I don't know Arne Slot this season for the side of Liverpool Football Club. No, it will go down as one of the biggest things that might happen for Liverpool Football Club for them to equal that particular moment in time. But when you go to Europe, the Liverpool is superior than Manchester United. No, the cluster winning way so we need the in the UEFA Champions League, winning that particular trophy for 6 consecutive times, and then Unya Manchester United or no win it twice on that particular occasion. And normally Liverpool come on is superior than Manchester United. But if say Ruben Amorim, it's me overcoming everything the Beba find this season. That's all going to the finals or the Europa League now. The question is, Europa League, will it become a big movement of Manchester United, bigger than Liverpool Football Club and its lot, winning the English Premiership title on the 20th time? And that will be a question. But for Harry Maguire and Bruno Fernandes, Harry Maguire's story with Manchester United has become one particular moment, DIABY. It has been a moment for Harry Maguire because all 3 Leicester City ever as out of Manchester United. Now he was being valued as one of these expensive defenders Obo and Ediama the side of Manchester United. But the buyer na emonibon enko yinfama under Oligo na social and an emonibon esha as editorial. The side of Ralph Ragnick by Omekisho so bit mabwa the side of Harry Maguire psychologically no with him abwana with him abobo in Manchester United into bianko ye. We've seen Eric Ten Hag that he came that still none the monobon enko and from Manchester United. At the game of boy against Atletico Bilbao in the preseason games in the 2021-2022 season, that own goal Timima Inaki Williams, man we actually make sure so much match that captain and banded the free Harry Maguire and same there the Amobi say Bruno Fernandes. Omoji free in seven the monobon band a call from. But that was the moment that Harry Maguire needed to sit down and make sure so much changing the story from being lemon to become lemonade. Why am I saying it? Because of say in last year October, when Manchester United was playing against FC Porto, and Manchester United red card, it took Harry Maguire to make that wonderful cross for Bruno Fernandes to score that particular goal. Again, when Manchester United were playing against Leicester City in February in the FA Cup, when they were down by just 1 man, it took Harry Maguire to come back to make sure so that winning goal in Manchester United. Then again, when Manchester United were playing against the side of FC Porto, even in the Europa League, it took Harry Maguire in that extra minute to make sure so that fine header cross, Ama Casemiro to the ball at the other side of Manchester United. And there again, Enra, he did that particular major history for himself by making sure Obetima dribble over the right full back of Atletico Bilbao for him to make that sweet cross for Casemiro to put that cross into that particular back goal of Atletico Bilbao. It tells Harry Maguire is back for the good, and Manchester United will need to extend his contract.